What is up, YouTube family? Thank you guys for tuning back in to Wilburn Shenanigans. My name is Chad. This is D. And we back with another great, excellent video. This one right here is a story, though. I'm a little bit nervous that y'all sent this over here, but I'm going to react to it. We're going to react. We're going to do our thing. So, the title is this, is the teen who assassinated two sisters as a satanic sacrifice. Wait, two sisters?
Why do you want to watch this?
Is it his sisters or... It don't even matter. Why am I asking that? Like, it make a difference if it's his sisters or somebody else's. Like,
why do you want to watch this?
Look.
We'd never call any of the monsters we cover on this channel normal. But some of their motives are so creepy that you just can't believe that's why they did it. In this super disturbing case from the UK, two sisters were happily celebrating a birthday when a total sicko came out of the darkness and tried to use them to complete a bizarre ritual. But why and how could this happen? Well, brace yourselves because this one gets extremely weird. Ready? Let's take a deeper look. June 5th, 2020 was supposed to be a really great day for two very close sisters. Biba Henry was a mature student who'd spent a lot of time helping people suffering from Alzheimer's. Nicole Smallman was in her 20s and a very talented photographer. They both lived in London, England. On June 5th, 2020, they must have been feeling pretty good about how things were going. The restrictions of the first lockdown due to the virus had just been lifted. And even better, it was Biba's 46th birthday. So there were two major reasons for them to celebrate. The sisters decided that they'd party with their friends at Fyrant County Park in Wembley, northwest London. They did this outside so that they followed the government guidelines about meeting in groups. And it probably didn't hurt that out there away from most of the city, they could have as much fun as they wanted. And it was also free. That evening, they picked up some snacks and drinks for the big night. In this footage, you can even see Nicole talking to another person as she buys her groceries. In fact, all the people who knew them thought Nicole and Biba were really amazing women, and they were having a really great time at this party. At Fyrant Park, they met with their friends and proceeded to let off a lot of steam. Hey, being cooped up will do that to you. I think we can all relate there, right? The party started at around 7 or 8 p.m. that evening. Eventually, at about 12:30 a.m., all their friends called it a night and went home. But the two sisters weren't quite ready to leave the park yet. They were having such a great time that they kept right on dancing and laughing and playing with the fairy lights until at least 3 a.m. They were probably a little drunk by then. What I think is that they were so happy to be together that they never noticed anything that might be wrong out there. Basically, the sisters were completely unaware that someone very dangerous was lurking in the dark nearby, watching them party. And they had no idea at all what would happen to them next.
See, I'm just gonna stop right here because I
would have left when everybody left.
I'm not, and then you out there, you know,
woods,
drunk by yourselves. I get it, we was on lockdown, but the woods, I don't do the woods. I don't do nothing with the woods. It don't even sound right. Let's go to the woods.
No, it was fine, like, to do a little party over there and anything, but once everybody leaves, like, then you guys leave too.
But it's the woods, though. You don't know what's out there, creatures and animals and people. You don't know who's watching.
The next day, by the evening of June 6th, 2020, Biba and Nicole's family and friends were starting to get very worried. Nobody had seen or heard anything from either of them. And even if they both had a major hangover, by that point, they should have answered, right? Although the family reported it to the police at first, the authorities didn't move all that quickly. But because they were so worried, a group of friends and family took the search upon themselves. They must have been so afraid of what they'd find. What they eventually discovered took it all from bad to so much worse. First, they spotted a pair of sunglasses, which belonged to Biba. They took this first find straight to the cops, but it wasn't really enough evidence for a proper police search. Then they noticed a large kitchen blade in the grass, very close to where the sisters had held their party. This was not a good sign. Nicole's boyfriend, Adam Stone, was now very worried. While he was still on a call with the police about the knife, he wandered down towards some bushes. What he found there made him scream for help, and he even fell to his knees in shock. It was worse than you could believe. And while the police were on their way, Adam contacted their mom. He said, Mina, we found it. Mina, I'm going to need you to sit down. I found them, but they've gone. Adam had found Biba and Nicole's bodies in those bushes below the hill where they'd had their party. Their clothes had been removed and they were lying top to toe and they were intertwined. That's super creepy. Someone had tried to hide them there. Can you imagine all those people walking by who never knew? That's so scary. The scene was also covered in that didn't belong to either sister. It was recorded as belonging to an unknown male, and it was clear that their attacker had somehow received a major injury during the struggle. This makes sense, although poor Biba never really saw who came out of the dark at her. It was pretty clear that Nicole did everything she could to fight back. Once she realized she was being attacked, she kicked and punched until she was overwhelmed by multiple injuries. The attack was described by the police as frenzied. At least an injured suspect is a great lead, but only if you know where to start looking. Over the next month or two, the police began to narrow down their suspects. The one thing they were totally sure of was that the sisters did not know the person who had taken their lives that night. So who could it have been? And why would a total stranger do something so awful to them?
You know what? I hate that policy. I hate that cop policy. I get it. You get calls, kids run away, and
but those are the most, how do you say, those are the most important.
But they've been saying that, and that's been happening like that. But it's still, you call it in, you got to wait 30, 24 hours or 48 hours. Like, that's stupid.
Like, you know how easy someone could literally drive out of state or fly out of state? Like, I just hate that because it's like, I feel like those first few hours are crucial.
We
like,
could be in Cali to Texas in that time.
Not even that, but it's like,
I'm saying that's how far you can be.
But it's so mind blowing. Like, I get it. Like, you know, kids run away and stuff like that. But I mean, it's your job. Like.
Honestly, strangers ending the lives of other strangers is still super rare. According to recent figures on homicide from the Office for National Statistics, 6 out of every 208 women in March 2019 had their lives ended by a stranger, which is way less than even 3%. Which is even scarier in some ways, isn't it? The danger is usually a lot closer to home. So random attacks like this are rare, but also totally terrifying whenever they happen. But Biba and Nicole obviously felt very safe together, surrounded by those fairy lights. And it wasn't long before the police started to close in on their suspect. It would turn out to be someone totally creepy. And it's safe to say, extremely sad, deluded, and dangerous. So you remember all the DNA evidence that was left all over the park? That was a huge help. After just about a month of searching, the police moved in on a prime suspect. The guy's name was Daniel Hussein.
It's me. Hands on your head. Stay where you are. You're under arrest, all right?
Don't you love how polite British police can be? Anyway, he didn't resist that taser, and so they had him ready for questioning.
Check the injuries.
Yeah.
The wrists from the cuffs.
No. Oh, is this the interview?
The injuries on your fingers. What happened there?
And you notice that he never even questions what this is all about. Of course, they'd noticed that very suspicious cut on his hand. He claimed it was because of a robbery, but he'd never reported it because it never happened. Later, the police found very clear footage of him at a hospital the day after Biba and Nicole vanished. He was getting his injured hand checked out. The cut was so bad, they were going to refer him to a plastic surgeon. But the evidence against him was looking really conclusive. He'd also been spotted on video going into the same park where the sisters were. He'd been staying there for almost the whole night. So there was plenty of solid evidence once they started looking.
So was he watching them party?
The creepiest bit of video they had shows him buying a block of very ordinary kitchen knives at a local supermarket. Knowing what he wanted to use them for just gives me a horrible chill. FYI, in the UK, they check your age before you can buy blades like this. He had to show his face and ID. So there's totally no doubt that it was him. And after he spent that night in the park, they had footage of him returning to his house. He has a coat wrapped around his waist to cover up because that nasty cut he got, and the struggle with Nicole had obviously drenched his pants in blood. But why would he do something like this? He had never met Biba and Nicole before. What on earth made him decide that this was a good idea? Well, he totally confused fiction with real life, and he made a dark deal that sounds totally insane.
So he made a deal with the devil, probably.
Yeah, he did this for totally pathetic and insane reasons. Although nobody has used the insanity defense with him, he's clearly lost his grip on reality. For start, he sounds more and more like an extremist incel. You know, the guys who think they're owed a girlfriend and get violent and entitled. Daniel was convinced that he deserved a great girlfriend. So I think you can tell where this is
killing
going.
somebody is
But on top of that creepiness, he was active on satanic forums that told him how magic could solve all of his relationship problems. So instead of working on himself, he became kind of obsessed with calling on the other side for help. He often watched a YouTube channel called Becoming a Living God. That channel has since been taken down, mainly because of this awful case. What those channels and magic users promise to do is kind of silly. They mainly seem to exist to trick a lot of people out of a lot of money. But enough people seem to believe that spells are the answer. And it was just enough to make Daniel extremely dangerous. At Daniel's house, police even found more evidence that he thought this stuff was totally real. Like, he'd actually written a contract trying to convince a demon to help him get a girlfriend and to win the lottery. He'd signed it in his own blood, too. He believed that if he 6 women every 6 months, all of his wishes would come true. He'd signed this horrible promise and even left a space for the creature to add his or her signature to. Notice there's a blank space there? Like, I guess that entity couldn't find a pen or whatever. Anyway, he'd even bought some lottery tickets, and these were found with the contract. By the way, these were not winning lottery tickets. Frankly, I'm not that surprised. Don't demons have better things to do? He'd also asked the demon to help him get away with it, so yeah. Guess he really did something wrong there, but he's pretty unimpressive. So what happened to this creepy loser in the end?
That's wild.
It probably didn't help that he acted out in front of the judge, and like an immature little baby, he turned his chair around on the video call and tried to get a reaction. But the sister's mom, Mina, has taught a lot of teenagers like him, and she was totally unimpressed with him too. He was brought to justice and sentenced to 35 years on October 28th, 2021. After Daniel was sentenced, Mina said,
"He's an obnoxious human being. He's a broken human being who, if he hadn't been called, other families may have been suffering what we have. Well, he ain't out there now."
The police were totally convinced he'd do this again if he could. And like their mom says, it's a relief that Daniel didn't get the chance to hurt anyone else. He's locked up now and hopefully forever. But Nicole and Biba's last moments must have been so terrifying. I can't even imagine it. There was a vigil for them in August. Lots of people attended, and they were really furious that something like this had happened, especially at such a public place.
They had a right to be here. They had a right to dance if they wanted to dance. And they had a right to go back home safe.
But all the same, I'd recommend being very cautious about walking around in the dark. There might just be a sick mind out there who's made a deal with the dark side to win the lottery. So what?
That's crazy.
That's sad. So he killed 2, so he would have went and did 4 more. Because he just...
It's crazy because, matter of fact, this murdering somebody by itself is crazy. But the fact that he had all this ritual crap.
2 years ago.
The fact that he had all that ritual crap behind it, like the lottery, making a deal with a demon,
but it's
and
like
entities,
but it's like they said those YouTube channels.
Man, I'm glad they took them down because that's crazy.
Because it's like, what if a kid came across that? That's
watching
just
that stuff. Like, what you need, man? That's crazy.
I mean, there is people that do believe in that, like black magic and all that. But some people I've seen, like, it's not like the darkness they put with it. It's like something else.
It's the fact that it just make me cringe. The fact that he actually had a contract. Like, you was speaking to the entity, come in here and sign it, and
like he left it and waited. Like, that was creepy. Like, he probably just binge watched.
Who was he calling on?
I mean, all that for a great girlfriend.
There probably was something in him.
You should have just prayed to God for a great girlfriend. I'm just saying, like, this is like she said, you could have just changed yourself.
That's crazy.
That's sad.
That's
and it's like not in a like weird way, but like at least they, kind of left together, sisters. That was sad though. Like, but it's like what gets me is like it's sad that it took her boyfriend to keep searching and going for it, and then you got the cops taking their time. Like, y'all should have been on this. If y'all would have searched the day they said it, maybe they could have been alive. I don't know. Maybe they would have been holding on for dear life. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, those were crucial times. And look, it took her boyfriend to see that. Like, that's sad.
That is. But this is a crazy story,
scary.
man. That's crazy.
I just find it hella cool that like they had so much footage of him. So it was like it's like a quick hurry up and get him.
Let us know y'all take on this. If y'all heard this story before, if it was your first time hearing it, let us know what you thought about this. This was definitely crazy for us. I don't even know what to say about it. It's just weird.
It's sad. Maybe
But
rest in peace.
thank you guys for tuning back in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we will see you in our next video.